21.
2nd Esdras 12 verse 21. And 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching.
In other words, out of the 8, read verse 19 again.
Verse 19. And whereas thou sawest the 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings, this is the interpretation. That in him there shall arise 8 kings, whose hands shall be but small, and their ears swift. And 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching.
No, that's talking about in the scheme of time, 2 of those 8 feathers. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, the German Empire, the Italian Empire, the French Empire, the Belgian Empire, the Dutch Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Portuguese Empire. It said 2 of them. And when you look at it, the first 2 that were eliminated was Austro-Hungarian Germany. In other words, their empire came to an end, respectively, Austro-Hungary in 1918 and the German Empire in 1919. You understand? But Italy, 1943, France, 1960, Belgium, 1962, the Netherlands, 1975, the Spanish, 1975, and the Portuguese Empire, 1999. Those dates represent the times when their economy, their holdings globally began to gain their freedom. And actually, I'll put it like this, they began to gain their independence and came under illusion of freedom because they ended up in unions like number 1, the United Nations. Number 2, different regionalized blocks like the EU, like the African Union, like the ASEAN. They got ASEAN. Okay, the alliance of Southeastern Asian nations called ASEAN. All right. Read on down, brother. So it says, go ahead.
Verse 21. And 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching. 4 shall be kept unto their end begin to approach. But 2 shall be kept unto the end.
In other words, it's talking about their power. They're all here, but their economic, their dominance, their economic dominance, their global influence, they've been losing. But they're all still here. So when they say perish, it's talking about they would lose their preeminence and the position, what you bring to the table as a global empire. And now, go ahead.
Verse 22. And whereas thou sawest 3 heads rested, this is the interpretation.
Listen to this, because now we're talking about the big ballers. This is the interpretation of the 3 heads. You're going to see it wasn't talking about Julius Caesar. It was not talking about Crassus. It was not talking about Pompey. Listen, it could be them in the reincarnation, because I believe that. But it's talking about the empire. It can't be just talking about one man, because the empire has successors. You got this emperor whose son rules after his death. You mean to tell me Caesar keep giving birth to Caesar? So by the time this mass battle go down, it might be these people that the Most High God, these spirits, placed them. But it's the heads, the 8 contrary feathers, is talking about all these world powers that emerge, these colonial powers that emerge in the ashes of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire throughout the Dark Age, the fall of all those nations, and then the rebirth, the renaissance of the Roman Empire. But it was reborn in a reconfigured form. It wasn't a unified power. Now, Revelation tells you that when it finally says the 10 horns, these all have one mind. In other words, that's the European Union being formed. Because at this stage that Esdras is speaking of, that we're breaking down, they were fighting each other. That's what World War I, World War II, and the Cold War was all about. Okay. Read that verse again.
Verse 23.
In these last days. Read verse 22 again.
Verse 22. And whereas thou sawest 3 heads rested, this is the interpretation. In these last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms, and renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion of the earth.
Now who has had the dominion of the earth since then? Let's just go look at it. It's talking about Russia had down in all of Asia. All of the stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. You understand? Once again, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and all of Russia. They had this. That's one of the three heads. Then you had, we've been saving Britain for last. Look at what, this is World War I. Britain had Canada. Remember the big issue that took place in Montreal or Quebec, where English was the official language in a dominantly French-speaking area, and the French of Quebec was pissed off at the Queen and all of England's hierarchy because they were having the English language imposed on them because the Brits, to this very day, still run Canada. But look at what this little island had, man. They had Canada, they had Egypt, Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. Anglo means English. Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. They had British Somaliland that during World War I, later, or actually prior to World War I, the Italians tried to take. They had British East Africa. They had Uganda. They had Northern Rhodesia, Southern Rhodesia, Bechuanaland, and the Union of South Africa, which they housed from the Dutch. When it was time to start housing them diamonds, that that the Rothschild family had sent Cecil Rhodes, that's what Rhodesia was named after, to go and establish a diamond monopoly and use that monopoly, use the illusion of the scarcity of diamonds to drive the price of diamonds sky high. There's no fucking scarcity. Diamonds are like sand in these portions of the area of land. That's what it's the truth. I got a book called From Glitter to Green, and it goes into detail about how the fake scarcity of diamonds is controlled. Okay, you with me? All right. So you got Nigeria also. You got Gold Coast. You got Sierra. All of these countries. Then they remember they conquered Australia. They conquered Papua. All of these. India. Burma. Now this is the 1914s to 1918s. If we had caught in the 1800s, they had China. They had China, not the British had China, not our own people. With the Opium Wars. And then that was the major head. And then the American Empire, let me say this you only have to turn it. You only have to turn it because this map don't cover it. This map goes all the way over to the Cold War. The American have begun to go into empire more recently. With them doing what? Invading Afghanistan, invading Iraq, doing all the stuff for oil. America is in the height of its empire right now. So when you do research on the three heads empire, you'll find the British Empire will be given the dates from 1607 to 1997 when they begin to falsely configure. For instance, there was a time when the Brits had Kuwait. Kuwait used to be literally all of Saudi Arabia. And then prior to and at the end of World War I, the Brits reconfigured Iraq, Iran, the oil company that the Brits ran. It used to really be called the Anglo-Persian or the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, and then later on it was changed to BP. They used to run that whole region, but the map is dealing with it after. All right? Okay. The British Empire, these are the three heads. When it says 1607 to 1997. Remember it said the head, the major head, the biggest head, the most powerful head, it said it would die. Let's read that. Read verse 22 again.
Verse 22.
Read it loud, brother.
And whereas thou sawest three heads resting, this is the interpretation. In these last days shall the Most High raise up three kingdoms, and renew many things therein. And they shall have dominion of the earth, and of those that dwell therein, with much oppression.
Go ahead.
Above all those that were before them.
In other words, they would have more diamonds above Spain, above Austria-Hungary, above Germany, above Italy, above Netherlands, above Belgium,